We are April and Scott, creators of NaughtyGym.com, and this is The Naughty Gym Show.
For years, we've been fitness and nutrition coaches to thousands of people through our commercial gyms and online platform. We've also spent nearly a decade in an ever-evolving open relationship.
This show brings together two of our biggest passions, fitness and sex positivity. Our mission is to maximize the physical and mental health of anyone brave enough to explore relationship structures that run counter to societal norms.
We have demolished our old ways of thinking about relationships, and from that rubble, built a life full of happiness, adventure, and vitality. And now we want to help you do the same.
So hop on the treadmill, start the show, and let us teach you how to never stop playing. You are antsy today.
Something feels off.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
All right.
Something doesn't feel
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Welcome back to the Naughty Gym Show. I'm your host, April, and this is my co-host, the Ant-Man himself.
You're getting, these things need explanation now. You're digging deep in the
You
barrel.
have been antsy this morning. He has moved this table and his chair no less than 100 times in the last 10 minutes.
So I got in here and I vacuumed in here. Yesterday's the only room I ever got to. But I remember moving this table or something, and now everything's just off. It doesn't feel right.
Okay. Well, just sit still. We have a special guest with us today. Do you want to introduce him?
Yes. So we've got Jimmy Thorpe with us, and I really have no idea how we got connected. I know it was partially something you responded to, or maybe completely because of something you responded to. But and we're going to dig into this probably for about 15 or 20 minutes. But Jimmy is leading the project that we're involved with as well, about trying to purchase a lifestyle resort in Central Florida, or central Gulf side of Florida. And so we were going to bring him on today to kind of talk about some of the plans and what's going on, and how when is this going to happen, if it's going to happen, all that kind of stuff. So Jimmy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to see you finally settled down there.
Jimmy's had to sit there and watch me fidget for the last 10 minutes. So we want to say this to start out with, and the very first time I had a conversation over the phone with Jimmy, I realized instantly he's got a stutter, and I'm just a bad person. So pretty quickly into that conversation, I made some kind of joke about it, thinking, well, he'll never talk to me again, or, we'll know we're a common type of person maybe. And so I did. I made a joke. He laughed. And so we thought we'd bring it up today, that if you hear this, yes, he has a stutter. It's not the internet malfunctioning on you. Jimmy has a stutter, but he's a super nice guy. We've met and been to one of his resorts in Costa Rica. He brought us down there and let us experience a few days at that place. And him and his wife are just incredible people, and we're happy to be involved in this project because of that. So again, we're glad to have you, Jimmy.
Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, and y'all aren't too bad yourself. What's the saying? Vibe attracts your tribe, or something like that.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is start out with just letting you kind of give us the highlights of what this project looks like, why we're talking about it today, and where we're at with the project now. And since you're the guy that understands the numbers the best, and the investment opportunity part of this equation the best, we thought it was important to come on and just kind of, do a brief overview of this. So I think it would be good to start with you giving us a little bit of your background, just 2 or 3 minutes, Cliff Note version of why you, so that everybody understands who you are and what you do.
I'm gonna try to get through this without too many syllables. So yeah,
we'll edit some of the stuff out.
All right. So I'm from a entrepreneurial family. Right out of high school, I started land clearing companies, like site development, and then got my residential builder's license, and we started doing some residential led development, and then escalated into hotel renovations. Ended up getting my general contract license and doing hotel renovations in downtown Charleston. Then we got into the bar business. We owned a dueling piano bar in Charleston, South Carolina. Owned a couple of sports bars. and then we sold everything in 2011, but we've been in the lifestyle since 2003. The primary goal of entrepreneurship is to solve problems. That's where all this came about. If you're in a lifestyle, the hardest thing is trying to find like-minded people. So we started planning this project about 2 years ago, how to solve the lifestyle problem, how to find your tribe. Because right now you have several apps. You have STC, SLS, to find a place to go have drinks, and and then if it all works out, and you want to get a room, then you got to go, go get a room. So we're trying to solve that, where we're putting a hotel in every major city, that has their restaurant, lounge, the nightclub with their rooms upstairs, and it's all membership based. And so, and of course, one app for everything. Rather than having this app and that app and that app, and then have to navigate the whole thing. 2 years ago, we started putting all this together. We made a few offers on a couple places, and now we're under contract with the first flagship property.
And we can't say, because some of the SEC guidelines say we can't identify the property on the internet or on a show like this, correct?
Well, the SEC guidelines, yeah, we can. I mean, that's fine, but the owner doesn't want it to be public knowledge.
Okay.
So so since we're doing the 506 as C filing, which is for accredited investors, we can basically talk about everything. We can talk about the numbers, the returns, the property, and all. But we have to make sure that we just disclose this is a 506C filing for accredited investors only.
Okay, and just to be clear for the listeners, accredited investor, as it stands right now, I think means that you have a net worth of $1 million or more, not including the value of your home, and or you have a salary or income of $200,000 a year or more, correct?
If you're married, it's $300,000
okay.
or more. But I've been doing this now for about 7 years, raising money through what's called syndications, which are crowdfunded by investors. We have SEC. Golly, I'm stuttering bad today.
It'll sound a lot better in the post edit version.
He's buffering.
This is why I'll drive 5 hours for a 1 hour meeting. I can't talk. But anyway, we have SEC attorneys, and so everything's legal. Everything's and we have history of this. There's nothing new for us. We're just, instead of raising money for one particular property, we're raising money for this entire platform, because this one flagship is only the first piece of the overall puzzle.
And you already have a resort in Costa Rica, like I mentioned a minute ago, because we went and spent a few days there a couple months ago. And you have one in one of the Virgin Islands, correct? And that's the two that you currently own?
Yeah. And we're in a contract on another one in Costa Rica right now too.
Oh, okay.
So luckily we're able to get the financing in Costa Rica, because we pay our bank note 30 days early, and the bank loves us there. So they're giving us 100% financing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Exactly.
Let's kind of give just a big picture view of what is happening with this upcoming flagship property in Florida, and why this is different. What are we going to be doing to make things different at this resort? Because this has been one of the problems that we felt like is a problem anyway in the States, is that you've got places out of country like Hedo and Desire, where it's really easy to go to those places for a full week's vacation and have a great time the whole time. And it's not necessarily just a weekend thing. But in the States, it's different. Most of the resorts do most of their business over the weekend. It's just a weekend party, a Friday, Saturday type party. So we've got some ideas on maybe changing some of that stuff up, but tell us kind of the big picture view of this investment and what we're trying to do.
Not sure if it's been mentioned on here or not, but we plan on building another 96 units on this property. The way it's set up right now, it's a little difficult to kind of host events or anything. We want to set it up. We want to compete with the Hitos, the Desires, and and by the time you pay that week price of going over there, all your flights and all, the only difference is we're not exactly on the beach, but when you go to these places, I mean, how often do you go on the beach? We've been to Temptation a couple times, but we never stepped foot on the beach. The old Hito 3 we went to a couple times. That was probably before y'all even got in lifestyle. But we never stepped foot on the beach there either. So the beach thing is good draw, but I think with you two there running the day to day, changing the culture, that we're going to get a lot more week long vacations here.
Right now, it is under contract. There's an agreed upon purchase price. We're in a due diligence stage, where everything's being reviewed by attorneys and all that kind of stuff. Let's talk about why this would be an attractive investment opportunity for people, because this is where you're going to be, much better at laying this out than either of us can do. But talk about that, why we want investors and how they're going to benefit.
Yeah. So the play here is more than just this one property. This is just the very first piece of the puzzle. This is a 7 to 9 year plan. We're going to start with the first piece, and we're already in talks with two more now behind this one. So we created a $100 million fund, and the first raise now is $30 million, and that'll buy our first of two properties, which in cash flow wise, just by buying those two properties will be a cash flow in about a $4.5 million per year, and the one property will be paid for in but 18 months. So then we have a $30 million property that's free and clear that we can basically use that to buy other one. We're going to pay certain multiple per business, but then once you roll them all underneath one plan, then you can exit for 10 to 15x. We're going to spend roughly a $58, $60 million to buy four properties. But that value is now worth a minimum 150 to 250 million. If anybody listening, if y'all know anybody that wants to sell a hotel or a club or property, reach out to us, because we're definitely ready.
Well, so the property that we're talking about that's under contract now, there's going to be the additional 96 units on top of what's already there, which is, I think I can say this, that they have 40 hotel units on the property and then a few other rentals, homes and things like that, which will put this at a great size because it's going to get it close to that 150 bed count, which is great for hosting an event.
Well, yeah, that's the biggest, I think, limiting factor right now. Like Jimmy said earlier, is you can't really host large events because there's nowhere for people to stay unless they're staying way off site in a hotel somewhere. And it just makes it difficult. So having those extra units would be incredible.
The resort section of that property has, I think it's 6 or 7 pools, and the main pool is absolutely monstrous. It's probably bigger than every pool at Hito combined.
Oh, for sure.
It's just a massive place. So you can host major events there. You just don't have the rooms to house people. That's going to be one fix that comes in right away. But it's also a thing, there's a lot of renovation money that's going to be in that project. Things are going to get changed, a lot of new programming. And some of that's where we'll come in part of kind of helping change the community and culture of how things are done there. So I'm curious, though, why us? Because, and we've talked about this, privately before, but I thought it'd be good to talk about it on the show because April and I have no experience running a hotel.
I would like to quote Stephanie when she said, because Scott is the most average person she knows.
Yes. Yeah, that's what Jimmy's wife said. Well, I think we picked you because you're just so incredibly average. It just
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
Y'all were in the car.
So what she meant was you're normal, which I also.
Okay. That makes sense now. Okay. And what I've noticed in the lifestyle world, the industry leaders seem to not like each other. There's a lot of tit for tat, a lot of back talking, a lot of hate, and we're not about that. We're we want to include everybody and surround ourselves with the same type of people. And anyway, we were riding the road, and I asked Stephanie. I said, we need partners that we feel that we're good with, and I don't know why I didn't think about you for whatever reason. And Stephanie said, "What about a couple from Alabama, the one you was talking to the other day?" I said, and then the light bulb went off. I said, "Yeah, great, you're a great guy. We had a great conversation. I felt like it wasn't it wasn't forced. We connected up pretty quickly." And then we met up in Dallas again. You guys spent the money to come to Dallas and sit with me and somebody else. Just told me right away that you're all in, for to come to Dallas to meet with me, and something that you just never even thought about either.
Well, and I think it's mutual, both growth minded. Like you said, we aren't trying to compete with other industry leaders. If one succeeds, we all succeed. And there's enough for everyone to go around. And so really that's one of our whys for this project is we want to see this community grow and flourish. All different people, organizations be able to host events there and promote and be successful. And we love that about you too, because you're very growth minded like that.
Yeah. And that's one of the big advantages of this, the property that we're talking about. I mean, sky's the limit on what you can host there because there's so much room. I feel like it's probably been underutilized a little bit. And we want to make this a place that is a fantastic option if you don't want to have to get the passport out and fly out of country. There are places like that, but they're all more or less weekend focused. And we want to keep the great party atmosphere, but then also provide other options, because where this is located in Florida, there's so much to do. And this doesn't have to be let's just drive in for a Friday, Saturday party. We can have fun on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday too. What is going to be our role? I mean, of course, we've all talked about that, but I think it would be good to hear that on the show. What is going to be our role as you see it going forward?
Make my job as easy as possible.
Well, that's going to be up to April.
Yes, that's my job.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be coaching naked.
I also make Scott's job as easy as possible.
Exactly. So we can compete with the Hito and stuff like that. We're not competing. We're just giving other options where you don't have to go get on an airplane and stuff. So I don't like the word that competing, because I would love to maybe one day do something with all these people, Hito, Desire, whatever, even Secrets. I mean, I don't want to compete with anybody. I want us all to collaborate and figure it out together. But yeah, y'all's role. I mean, number one, which I think is the most important of the whole thing, is the culture shift. We need to that's the flagship property. The culture needs to be right there first, and then we take that same culture and it expand it across the country. But you guys have such a you get a wholesome vibe. You're not competing. You're always trying to help people. Whether it's in your fitness stuff or the Wild Love Theory book. It's all about helping people, and that's what this is all about. Is the culture, and after that's fixed, then everything else should fall into place.
Yeah, one of the things that, and we do see this changing already, but has always bothered us a little bit at certain places, is this kind of old school swinger mindset where we're just here to fuck and drink.
There's a place and time for that.
Yeah, and it is, and I'm saying that's wrong. I'm just saying that shouldn't be the only thing available, that, hey, we're going to go here and we're going to have sex with somebody. And if we don't, the entire trip feels like a giant disappointment. There's so much more to non-monogamy than just the sex. And that's not to downplay the role of sex. It's just to say that, there's a lot more that you can experience through this world of non-monogamy. It doesn't have to just be focused on whose pants can I get in the quickest when I get there. Go ahead.
It's funny that you say that, because that's actually how well we got in the lifestyle, because we like the atmosphere. We didn't play. We said that was off limits, and then 5 years later, here we are. I mean, but it was a evolution for us, right? But now, 20 years later, we're back to just atmosphere again. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not playing anymore or anything, but we still like a friend. We still like atmosphere. So we want a place that, even if you're not DTF or whatever they say, you can go and enjoy the atmosphere, and not worry about there being not pressured, and that's the way I look at it. That's the culture I want.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited about this project. The goal is, when this thing closes, is we'll be moving down there, to start helping, with some new ideas, change of direction, things like that, and to bring what is already what we think the best, structurally the best resort in America in the lifestyle, and bringing some new modern thinking to some of the programming and events that are going on there, so that it is more than just parties. It includes the parties, and we want to make them bigger and better than they already are. But there's going to be other things too: education and wellness, and a huge inclusivity program where we're not just focused on very particular subsets of non-monogamy, but we're open to everybody, and to try to become a home for everybody that needs a place inside the States to go and experience this kind of non-monogamous vibe with other people who think like they do. It's going to be a fantastic project. We're incredibly excited about it. Can't wait to get down there and start getting our hands dirty. And it really is, we believe, going to become the nicest place in America for non-monogamists to go.
Are there any other details that future or potential investors would need to know? Scott, you've got contact info, like how people can reach out.
If you want more information, all the documents, the financials are there, a pitch deck. These things you can access them. If you want to email me make sure I get this right. It's Scott at Wondervest, which is spelled WANDERVEST @.world. Wait a minute. I don't know if I said that right.
Scott at wondervest.world.
Yeah, there we go. I started to say at
and
gmail.com.
that link will be in the show notes as well. Scott at wondervest.world.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested in just hearing more about this in more detail, we're going to do a webinar at 7 p.m. Central Time this coming Thursday night.
We'll put the link to that in our show notes.
Jimmy,
May 7th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yeah. But you asked a minute ago, what I wanted in investors to know. So we're doing a high equity split for the investors. So we have 3 splits, right? The 80-20 split is over $1 million with a 10% pref payment. Class B is a 70-30 split with a 9% pref payment, and Class C is a 60-40 split with a 8% pref payment, which is in the real estate world and in the equity splits. That's like the 80-20 is above average. The 70-30 is your common split. Well, we wanted to give the people that can only invest 50 to 100 grand. We wanted to be able to give them an option to get in. So it's really a 60-40 split for them. The cash out down the road, everybody that invests in here should be very happy.
If you want to know more, you can email me at that email address I said earlier. Hopefully you were listening, and I'll send you a link to the portal, investor portal, and then you'll go in there, register, and you'll get access to all the documents. You have to sign an NDA and stuff. Or you can come to our 7 p.m. Central Time webinar on May the 7th, the Thursday night, and Jimmy will be in there, and you can ask direct questions so you can get direct answers. And I think we will be able to talk about the property specifically in that webinar, correct?
Yeah, as long as they sign NDA, we can send the link where they have to sign NDA before they get on.
Perfect.
But yeah, they have to sign NDA.
Anything else before we wrap this up?
No, I think we covered it. I appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you. Thank
Yeah.
you for taking the time to come on today and explain that. I think we've had a lot of interest and we have a lot of people that will be reaching out. That's Scott at wandervest.world. And then May 7th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, you can join all three of us on a webinar and ask any questions. And we'll post that link as well in the show notes. So we hope to see you soon.
All right. Anything else, babe? All right, so we're going to take a quick break, let Jimmy get on about his day, and then we're going to come back and, we talked a little bit about why we wanted to do this investment opportunity. Now we're going to come back and talk about our why for non-monogamy in general after Jimmy signs off here. So, Jimmy, again, we appreciate it. It's been, it's been a interesting ride getting to this point, and we're thankful that we're a part of it, but wanted to say thank you and tell your wife we said hi to her too.
If I can wake her up, I'll tell her.
Okay, and we are back. Thank you for listening to that. And first, I want to start by talking about some trips that we have coming up that have availability. Our Barcelona is sold out, but we have Toronto coming up. We're invading the X Club during Pride Week in Toronto. So that's June 25th through the 28th. You can go to naughtygym.com under events to get your tickets to that. It's a 4-day event. We have Luna Matatas, DJ Raw Pulse, Ashley Manta, DJ B Smooth. We have a lot of fun things in store, and the full itinerary is on the website. Then in October, we have 5 rooms left for our El Salvador trip. That's October 12th through the 17th. We have in November 3 events. We have our ladies menopause retreat, Wild and Wise, that I co-host with Catherine from Expansive Connection. Scott has his Mancation Mountain, which is our men's retreat. And our cabins are right next door. We don't interact, but they are next door. So if we have a husband and wife coming in together, you can both get the retreats, and the logistics are a little bit easier this year. So that's November 8th through the 11th. And then November 15th through the 20th is our holidays, where we celebrate all 5 holidays in 5 days in a fun, naughty party. This is more of a party connection event.
So much fun last year.
It was a blast last year. So that's also in the Smoky Mountains. And then our last event, it's actually not this calendar year, but early 2027, January 2nd through the 9th, is our 4th Be Better at Being Bad at Hedonism Resort in Jamaica. And this isn't our event, but this week, Friday, we leave for Hedonism Resort. We'll be there the 8th through the 16th, teaching pickleball clinics on their 6 new pickleball courts. So we'll be doing clinics there every day from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. So if you happen to be there, we'll be greeting you in the lobby on Saturday to sign up for those clinics.
And you've ordered all new cute pickleball outfits, correct?
I ordered some slutty little pickle. You can play naked now because they have screens up, but playing pickleball naked is not my preferred way to play. Also, I got to protect my son from the skin, or my skin from the sun. Okay, so we're going to continue the conversation. I recently read the book Polysecure by Jessica Fern. And in one of her chapters, she actually quoted Simon Sinek, who is somebody that I have read almost every one of his books because he's in the business world. And when we had our business mentor for our commercial gym through Two Brain Business, he actually came and spoke at one of their events and just has a lot of great business info that translates to good personal info. But she was talking about finding your why in non-monogamy. And she's a psychotherapist. So she works with couples in non-heteronormative relationships. And that's one thing Simon Sinek talks about is knowing your why, not just the how and what of what you do. And if you can come back to that why when things get tough, it will help keep you grounded so that you could stay focused on moving ahead and what needs to happen next. And so Jessica Fern said when she talks to couples in non-monogamous relationships, the ones that can clearly articulate their why for being non-monogamous are better able to navigate the ups and downs. Even if your partner has a different why, understanding the differences and the similarities can be a life jacket, she says, when the waves of non-monogamy, which will come up in every relationship, happen.
Yeah, because I imagine and I know this was true for us early on in lifestyle journey. We wouldn't have been able to answer this question.
Yeah.
I don't think, why are we in non-monogamy? What's our why? And probably would have assumed that each of us shared the same why. And if we assume that, then it's going to bring up problems that are hard to foresee or navigate around, because you're just living on these assumptions and you've never talked them through.
Right.
It's very easy to make mistakes in situations like that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one thing that kept us grounded when we were outed was knowing our why, even if at that time we probably hadn't clearly stated it to each other. As a couple, we kind of had a why, and it had less to do with our individual whys as us as a couple. But that's something that we've talked about when we coach our fitness clients too. What is your why? Like, you want to get in shape, you want to lose weight, but why? Is it, a lot of times they'll say, well, I just want to look better naked or in a bathing suit. Okay, but why? What is the core thing that you're going to come back to? Because just saying, because I want to look better naked. Okay, there has to be something deeper to that. For us, what we've found, especially in community, is our why has helped create our community, because people are drawn to people who share similar values and why. People who come to our events, either it's for them or it's not. And it's kind of a self-filtering thing, knowing your why. I would say at the beginning of our relationship, our why was very different than it is now.
Oh yeah.
And we may not have even had one. It was just, we want to fuck as many people as we can who are hot, and we don't want friends.
Yeah, we used to say we want to have sex with as many hot people who are interested in us as possible and be done with it.
And that never happened.
Not really. No. I mean, we kind of were much more volume oriented early on, especially compared to what we are now. But we were definitely wrong in our why.
Yeah.
And that's part of the thing. You don't have to decide your why and then stick with it like it's some sort of constitution you wrote for a new country or something.
Right.
It's going to be an evolving idea, evolving concept. And like you said, I don't think we knew our why, even though we tried to express it early on. It has definitely changed, and we were way wrong to start with.
Yeah. What would you say your why is now?
It's easy for me to say that now. And again, I don't think I could have articulated it very well in years past, but it is about connection for me. It is not about sex, or it is no more about sex than monogamy is about sex for me. And for me, that looks like this. I want to be able, when I'm in those non-monogamous spaces, or if I'm, you meet somebody, to feel like I can connect genuinely and organically without restriction with that person, not in order for it to end up in the bedroom. Because I would imagine if I meet 100 people, maybe only one of those I end up playing with. Mm-hmm. So that's not the goal, is to get somebody to bed. The goal is to not be restricted in how I interact with them, because what fuels my passion and love for this, open world is the ability to just sit down and really dig deep and connect with somebody on a non-surface level way. Instead of just finding out, where do you work? What's your name? How many kids you have? Okay, let's fuck. Mm-hmm. To me, can be fun at times. And I don't want to sound negative towards that, but it's just not the best way for me. I don't enjoy that much. I don't want to sit down in front of somebody and have to figure out, all right, what are all of my limitations in this moment, what I can and cannot do or say. And also now I need to figure out what all their limitations are. I hate that. I just want to engage with them in an authentic, transparent, organic way, and feel comfortable that is okay.
Mm-hmm. And why do you think that is? Like, is there a bigger why behind that? Like, why do you crave those connections?
Because that's I was never allowed to be that person. I didn't even know you could be that type of person growing up. I was very limited in how I interacted with people. I have, through non-monogamy, even when we early on were just trying to see who we could have sex with, I still realized how much different it was to have these deeper, almost limitless type of conversation and engagements with people, because it felt so much more impactful than the surface level type shit I've lived with for most of my life. Mm-hmm. That feeling of really getting to know somebody and being able to interact without those guardrails in place is almost euphoric for me. And that's the why. I want to continue to have that kind of interaction with the world, because it feels more loving, it feels more spacious, it feels more expansive, and it fills me up in a way that maybe nothing else has.
I would agree. Our whys are very similar, but I think for different reasons. So I also crave those connections that are authentic, but part of my why goes back to deconstructing the belief systems that we were raised to abide by, and the systems that society tells you you have to do things this way. And so being able to question that and really sit with what is actually real for me, what is true for me, what feels grounded for me. And I think your why can either ground you or it can expose you. And I feel like throughout the years, as we've both kind of clung to our why, it's done both of those things. It's exposed ways that thought patterns that we've realized, I'm thinking this way because I've been told to think this way, not because this is something that I actually want. And that's an uncomfortable thing to be exposed to when you're going, but this feels comfortable because this is how I've always thought. And getting out of that pattern is very uncomfortable, and can feel raw and vulnerable. But those are the things I want to lean into, because I do want to be in communities where I can be 100% authentically me. And so that is part of my why, is I want to do things the way April feels the most grounded, not because somebody's telling me I have to. And the community and the people that we have met in the lifestyle have given me room to do that.
And that's one of the reasons we wrote the book. It's not a book about figuring out your why. That's going to be a little more in your next book.
Yeah.
But it is setting the preconditions for being able to discover your why.
Right.
It's talking about being free and having that congruence where what's on the inside, the things that you truly value, desire, and want, are able to be expressed in your outer life without guilt or judgment or that sort of thing. That is the condition that's necessary to best help you figure out what are my whys. Because even if we're having a conversation, if we don't feel free to express what we really think, want, or would like to experience, without me worrying how you're gonna feel about that desire or whatever, you're still not free.
Right.
You can't even talk about it. And if you're listening right now, just try to take a minute to figure out, all right, what is it that I want out of non-monogamy? What is my why? It's not always easy to say that and figure that stuff out. It's not just an intellectual exercise. What do I actually want? But it's also emotionally difficult, like you were saying. Right. So there's a lot that is not easy about this process.
Well, and having conversations with your partner about what is your why, and realizing, well, there's some differences and some similarities, can help you better navigate non-monogamy as a couple or as partners, where you can say, okay, this part doesn't really align with my why, but now you can understand why XYZ triggers you or why it doesn't, and can help you, instead of just putting more rules in place, having a deeper understanding of actually what is happening. It's not, my husband just wants to go fuck as many people as possible because he's not attracted to me. It's, my partner loves to deeply connect with other humans, and it's not necessarily sexual. Sometimes it might be, but having that understanding of what your partner's why is, I think, is vital in a healthy non-monogamous relationship.
Yeah. It is a difficult thing but having that why allows you to, it makes, when you say you're in an event and you express a desire to engage with somebody in some particular way. If you really have been able to explain what your why is in the lifestyle, those expressions in the moment of what you would like to do may not seem so shocking to your partner, because they go, oh, that makes sense, because I know what he or she is really wanting out of this situation. This makes sense in the big picture. Otherwise, a lot of times, and we have this happen to us all the time, an action that you see your partner taking seems off. Like, why are they doing that? I thought they liked this, or I thought they wanted this, and now they're sitting there doing that. And if you don't have those conversations about what it is you truly want, some of the things that you do at some of these events or parties can seem confusing.
Not just what do you want, but why do you want it?
Yeah. And it's just not, it's not easy. And we encourage everybody to try to take a minute sometime to sit down, even if you have to just write it on a note in your phone, try to make it as succinct as possible. And what do I want, and why do I want it in non-monogamy?
Well, and knowing some things like, if your why is fear-based, then, or you want to be non-monogamous to avoid intimacy. Like maybe you're like, I'm just going to do DTF because I don't want to get to know people. I don't want any feels. There's more underneath that probably needs to be addressed. And that's what I was talking about. Like, it will either ground you or expose you. It will expose those places that maybe you need to do some work. Maybe you need to talk to a coach or a therapist or somebody, if you're choosing non-monogamy to save a relationship, or because you saw another couple doing it and it looked fun. I mean, there's got to be a little bit more to it than just those surface level things. Yeah. But if you're listening to this, ask yourself, like Scott said, why am I drawn to this? What do I believe this will give me or my partner? And what am I afraid of losing? Which are some questions that we also have people ask in the Wild Love Theory book. But then ask, what is my partner's why? And have we actually said this out loud? This is a great conversation to have with your partner. If you've been thinking about non-monogamy, or you're in non-monogamy, or, we've been in now for 10 years, and it can evolve and change. So just assuming that your partner's why is still the same as it was when you started non-monogamy is not a great idea. Have those conversations.
Yeah, I would say if you've been in this for any length of time and you had an original discussion about, why are you wanting to potentially have sex with other people, and you haven't talked about that again in a year or two, and you're both saying it's exactly still the same thing as it was before, that's a yellow flag for me.
Yeah.
And
Scott doesn't see yellow flags very easily.
No, because if you don't change when you get in this at all, I don't know many people that their lifestyle journey looks exactly the same 2 years after they started it.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to talk about those changes and, those aha moments that you're having along the way, or you and your partners are going to get your wires crossed at some point.
Yeah. So if this landed for you, have a conversation with your partner. And if you feel like sharing it, we would love to hear what your why is for non-monogamy. And we'll read it on our Patreon. So email it to naughtygemonline@gmail.com. We want to know why you and your partner want non-monogamy.
Yeah. Or you can put it in a comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can put it in the comment section of the video as well.
Yeah, if you don't want to feel too exposed.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for joining us today. We know this was a little surprise episode. We'll be back next week with another episode for you. Go to naughtygym.com. Under the events tab, you can find all of our events coming up. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to naughtygemonline@gmail.com.
I do have one last thing to say, because we talked about the Toronto event. That's our next event coming up. If you want to go to that, you can get to the club and just show up and buy, your passes and membership and stuff for the one day of the event. But by far the best deal, since the event is 4 days long, is you can go to our website, the naughtygym.com website, click that event and buy a pass for all 4 days that is almost the same price as if you buy it one day at the club.
There's also a link for discounted hotel rates because it's FIFA, it's Pride. So the hotel rates are exorbitant, but you get a special X Club rate if you click the link on our event page. All right. So thank you for joining us again. And remember to never stop playing.